I did know that my marriage was bad. I knew that it wasn't healthy, that the fights and the verbal and emotional abuse that I was enduring was not quote unquote normal. But I don't think that I had yet put myself in the category of someone whose husband laid hands on her until that moment. Rob and I were married in November of 2009. It was a very quick courtship and engagement. Within a matter of a couple of weeks after being married, I was aware of his temper. By December of 2010, so just after a year of being married, the arguments, the insults, the, in my opinion, unwarranted and sometimes inexplicable anger continued. During one of these fights where we're both yelling at each other, I disengaged and removed myself from the fight to go take a shower. And Rob wasn't finished fighting, I suppose. At that point, he was still angry, and so he came and grabbed me by the shoulders here and pulled me out of the shower in a rage. Immediately on seeing the terror in my face, retracted and apologized and changed composure immediately. But that was the first time that he had laid hands on me. That is the first time that anger had gone beyond the words and the insults and the regular rage that I had been accustomed to. And at that point, I refused to attend a family vacation with him, and I asked him to leave the house and sort of began seeking potentially alternatives to a separation. So that by the end of about 3 years of marriage, I was sort of a shell of a person and a muted version of the woman that I had been when I met Rob. Ultimately, we divorced in November of 2013 after about a year of separation. And I have been able to maintain a cordial, mutually respectful relationship with Rob ever since. We speak regularly, not often, but regularly. And it wasn't until 2017, after Rob had been tapped to serve in the Trump administration in the White House as staff secretary, that Rob's first ex-wife, Colby, reached out to me, asking if I would like to meet, since we both had to rehash our marriage and rehash our experience with the FBI. She asked if I would like to meet. And so in March of 2017, when we met, she did tell me in some detail the physical abuse that she had suffered, in addition to the emotional and psychological and verbal abuse, which was similar to what I had suffered in my marriage. So it's my understanding that the FBI holds a fairly standard interview for security clearance background checks, and that is what was held with the special agents that met with me. They weren't asking specific targeted questions about Rob. They were asking, to my understanding, general questions about his character, about his ability to uphold the position. I told them all of the details of my marriage, including verbal and emotional abuse, and including the incident when he pulled me out of the shower. They were also made aware of the protective order that I signed in June of 2010, and they were also made aware of another time when I had called the police to our home after a domestic disturbance. After I did the interview and the story broke and Rob made his statement categorically denying what both myself and Colby had said, I wasn't surprised that he did that. I think the self-preservation of his job and his reputation was very strong, and I was very well aware that that was a good likelihood. I also am not at all surprised that people who work with him in a professional capacity see him as a model of discretion, integrity, and character. Because, like I mentioned, I believe that he is. And I think professionally, he is intelligent, and he is measured, and he is certainly someone that I would trust in that professional position. And in his personal life, he is also abusive and angry. I think it probably was wise professionally for him to resign, so as not to stay in that administration and send the wrong message to anyone. I think hopefully that can be interpreted by other people in the White House who were coming to his defense, or other people who are now continuing to see this story as it unfolds, both the details of my marriage and the details of Colby and Rob's first marriage, that his decision to step down shows how seriously he takes those allegations.